I was going to congratulate Kevin that the Joker was out
Terry's got to go, I think.
Okay, Terry.
Terry's going to umpire and everything. Terry, before you go, you want to tell me I was right?
On what?
On our conversation last
No,
night.
you're wrong.
All right. Well,
Not in our league.
We see, that's the end. That's the end. All right, Hunter. We got because I wanted Terry to be. He's happy about his Celtics, so I'm gonna. He even brought that in just for 5 minutes, Tom. Look at this. He's taking it home. He is what a troll.
Yeah. Get that out of here.
The biggest troll
Take that home.
that we've got is
take that
Terry.
home. I got a nice attic for that to go in.
All right. So Hunter, we've got because I want Terry to listen to this conversation going down the road. Then,
so we're moving away from the NBA now.
Well, we were never supposed to get into. I just wanted him to talk about the Celtics. We weren't really getting NBA. It was let Terry brag about his Celtics for a minute before we get out of there. So Hunter,
we can't do that.
I've got a situation.
I'm already in NBA mode now.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Y'all know how this show works. We're supposed to do our opening segment.
Actually, we don't.
Terry had to leave, so we had to let him brag about his Celtics. Now, Hunter, this is specifically for you. Tom is aware of the situation. Terry is aware of the situation. So I've got to explain it to you and get your unbiased opinion on the situation. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So you're familiar with watching baseball, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've seen pitchers before. You ever seen a sidearm pitcher, Hunter?
Yes.
Are you familiar with baseball rules? Is there a limit to how a sidearmer can be?
No, because you got submarine pitchers that are way below what you would consider a sidearm.
Right. So your thought / opinion is that there is no limit to arm angle anywhere that you've ever heard of in anything.
No, if you can make it work, you can make it work.
So if you're umpiring a baseball game, let's say high school or college, and the kid's throwing sidearm where it's almost 100% underhanded, and the coach for the other team says, "Mr. Umpire Yancey, is that not an illegal pitch? Is that not right? Can he do that?" What would you say to him?
Is it in the rule book?
You've never been an umpire either.
No.
It's not in the rule book.
No, it's not.
There is no rule, right, Tom?
Well, here I looked something up. It said baseball nearly every pitcher throws overhand, taking advantage of their height, elevation of the mound, blah blah blah. Okay.
That's
only a
strategic.
handful of pitchers have enjoyed significant careers throwing underhand, like Hayes of Chicago. I want to say he played for the White Sox. So we acknowledge that submariners do throw, and I call them in the umpire world, we call them the knuckle draggers. You know, and I hate them because if you're calling pitches, you got to be like the batter. You got to pick it up, so you can see it, and it's harder to see.
It's moving.
So I don't enjoy calling that pitcher. But at the same time, you're talking about legality versus illegality. There's nothing illegal. Now, that being said, Kevin and I already had this conversation that some local leagues will have their rules.
All right.
So if they have a rule against it, you can't. It's just like in
100% agree. If you have it printed out or documented, rules,
like
everybody has separate rules.
In high school baseball, you can courtesy run for the catcher. That rule's in the rule book.
All right.
So
now,
we'd have to do the same thing.
Here's some irony to the situation. I looked up the story I told you about. All right, Hunter. Basically, what I'm getting at is have you seen Rookie of the Year where the kid gets his arm caught and he can throw really fast?
It's been a while.
And
That's a good movie.
Right. And then at the end, the coach can't never say his name, calls him Rowan Gardner, Roser, and all that. Have you ever seen that with the Cubs? No. Well, the kid is in the outfield watching a game, and he tears his elbow. And when they fix it, he can throw 100-something miles per hour. So he ends up playing for the Cubs. Well, basically the scene is at the end of the movie. He loses it, remember? And how does he throw?
Underhanded.
He throws it underhanded. There's nothing illegal about it, nothing against it, right? So we're established this, okay? So, with that said, real quick, some irony to it. In the 20s, 1922, Tom Geen in North Carolina, in Greensboro, pitched a minor league perfect game underhanded.
That was in the 1920s.
That's when Babe Ruth played, Hunter.
Okay.
This is minor league.
Again, remember though, but again, before you say that, every time somebody says 1920s when you bring it up, it'll be like, if you don't say Babe Ruth or Ty Cobb's name, they're like, those guys don't count. Like Roger Hornsby didn't count. He played for the Cardinals. But then you play Babe Ruth, you'll be like, oh, okay. I guess it does. So Tom Geen, Hunter, reported Tom in the Lincoln County News In the 1920 Lincoln County News, this is what's so funny about this. And the irony of the situation. Hunter, I'm going to bring it back to you here in just a minute. Used an underhand delivery to deceive his opponents, and he was called the underhanded curvologist, and he threw a perfect game. His only win of the season. Now, Hunter, with all that said, coach pitch. Coach comes out there, throws it sidearm or underhanded. Should there be a problem? Should there be an issue? And nowhere in any local, in the regulations, rules, Major League rule book, nowhere, anywhere can a coach pitcher throw it sidearm or underhanded.
Look, I'm just gonna stick with what I said because that's how I feel about most things. If it ain't in the rules, then I guess it's all fair game. But
I'm
if
gonna
it's
sip my
in,
tea
but
while
if
he
it's
says
in the
this.
rules, but if it's in the rules,
It's not
then
in
you
the
can't
rules,
do
Hunter.
it.
See, but Kevin knows how I feel about weird stuff because we talked about the skunk in the outfield play and things like that. When you do things, and Kevin, I know it's legal, but when you do things that are unusual, my job gets harder.
So, Hunter, in our coach pitch league,
I don't care if your job gets harder,
right,
Tom.
right. Who cares? Who cares?
I'm just saying.
As an
I'm just
umpire,
saying, from my perspective,
As
like when
an
they come out and start
umpire,
doing
That's the
It
last
don't
crocodile
matter.
tears you're getting there.
listen, it is if it's an underhand pitch, you know good and well it is not going to have some heat on it unless they full on
So-
softball wind
Yeah,
that
I
up.
know.
So, Hunter, at home, my kids in coach pitch, the kids are 3 foot tall, right? So
Mhm.
at home, we use plastic balls. I fire them in there underhanded to give them the level throw. Because I throw them overhanded. Think about it. King Griffey Jr. is a perfect example. His swing. I talked to Dustin last night about it. About the ball dropping like that. And if you got a classic left-handed loop swing, you just swing right under it. And so I throw them in there underhanded to both my son and my daughter for practice. It's just the same thing as soft toss, but I throw it from the pitcher's mound. And so I'm like, we haven't practiced it in practice or anything. We haven't talked about it at all. We haven't even discussed it. But I wanted to know the actual rules on it because I didn't know the rules. So going to this tournament, I decided to call an umpire with the tournament and ask him what they thought. And ended up being the umpire director of the tournament. And he said that he will not allow sidearm pitching and will not allow underarm pitching and would not argue with me as far as 90-degree, 40-degree, what is okay. I said, I pitched sidearm in high school. Can I throw sidearm? And I was going to scoop it. And he said, no. Has to be overhanded. But nowhere in the official organization's rules, I read those this morning, and I have not been given any type of official rules paper that says only overhand.
If he is going to come out and say that no,
Now, I
you
called
can't.
Philip Russ, coach. I called Dustin Days, an umpire. He said he agreed with Tom. It's not against the rules, but the only person so far that's against it is the head umpire of this organization.
But that's because it's probably one of the most.
He said he's never been asked or seen.
I was about to
before
say
either.
that's why.
but that
'cause he
don't
was
mean
like-
anything.
He was like, Kevin, I'm just gonna tell you. I'm like most people. If it isn't in the rule book, you can do it. But if he's gonna come out and just flat out tell you that you can't do it,
And
you
there's no
can't do
piece
it.
of paper. There's no rules. And here's the thing about it. This is coach pitch, right? This is coach pitch, remember? What's the objective of coach pitch? To throw the ball and the child hit it. So our scorebook yesterday, Greg Maddox, our pitcher, had 8 Ks in 4 innings. If he's throwing it underhanded on a flat plane, he doesn't have 8 Ks in 4 innings. So their official policy, Hunter, is we would rather see the 5 and 6-year-old girls and boys strike out than hit the ball and our team play defense. So do you want them to strike out or play defense? So meanwhile, Hunter, our team is younger than the other teams as well. So we get beat 12-0. We had 2 people get on base the whole game and 8 strikeouts. But we're arguing about whether I can throw it overhanded because I guess that would be a detriment or ruin the league. So to me, I should be able to throw. I'm not pushing the issue. I don't care. I'm saying for future tournaments and future play, like we play next week and something else, should this even be an issue? And the reason I even called him, because like, Tom, if you're going to run a trick play in baseball, basketball, football, sometimes the coach is like, hey, ref, we're about to do something here. The other coach may not know the rule here. When he flips out, this is what's going on. And that's kind of like, hey, that's why I called him. Like, I don't want to argue with the other coach about this because I know it's not against the rules. But he shot it down.
I also hate when they do that.
What, tell you?
Yeah, because then because when you're about to get in one, you're making my job hard.
Tom doesn't want any trick plays,
I don't.
any fun,
I don't. I'll be
Like,
honest with you.
Make
I'll be
my job
honest with
easier.
you.
Tom
I'll be
is
completely honest
Tom
with you.
is
I
there
don't.
for one
I will be
reason
honest.
only.
I
Make
will be
his
honest
job
with you.
easy.
Tom is
I
there for
know.
one reason only, and that is to cash a check when it's over.
No, it is not.
That's
That is not true.
That's exactly
No,
what
it
it
is
is.
not true.
All right, let me get
I
him.
just
Let me get
you
him.
don't
Where's he
understand, Hunter. If you've not done it, you don't
get
understand. It
Money
just-
Manziel over here. Hold on.
I
Oh,
will.
it's on
I will
camera.
work my tail off. I will be fair. I will run. I will hustle.
Cash
I will
that
do
check,
all that.
Tom.
Whatever.
Cash
You
that check.
you take yourself out there, and then you tell me how you feel about trick plays and garbage, and I want to do this. Is this okay? Blah
Tom,
blah blah.
I went to refereeing classes one time.
Yeah, what's that got to do with that? You went to a referee class.
No, I mean,
went to a referee class one
Yeah,
time.
I'm telling you,
That's like saying, I got in the bathtub. I've been to the beach. Come on now, Hunter. Come on.
Come on, I'm just saying.
Come on now.
It didn't seem that difficult.
You come on out there. You come on out there.
Nah,
with me,
I was
Hunter.
at-
You come on out there.
I did soccer refereeing, but
There he is. There he is, Hunter.
Yeah.
Money, Tom. Just
No.
give him the money and make it easy on
Yeah,
just
him.
make
break.
that, just get that
Make
money,
Give me a
Tom.
break. Give me a break.
Just get that money. Just
Both of
cash
you,
that
give me a
check.
break. When you've done it, you come out there, Hunter.
Just
you come out
cash
there.
that check,
You
Tom.
come out
Money,
there.
money. If you're listening on the radio, we've got his head in a Johnny Manziel money, little artwork there for him.
Yeah, because
so.
I'm getting rich off umpiring baseball.
You're
That's
getting
how you
rich
get
off
rich. You
not
get
having
rich.
to work hard, is what you just said. Tom.
No, I just
Tom,
don't like
you
headaches.
literally just told me you don't want it to be
All right,
harder.
Hunter,
I didn't
you
say
ready-
I have to
are you
work
ready
on it, I
for
said
the-
your job
Are you ready
gets
for the
harder.
final nail in the coffin in the story?
Yes, because I would actually like to talk a real sport.
All right, there's one more thing left. The
Yeah.
head of the umpires at this league is none other than Terry Reinhardt.
Did Hunter not know that?
No, that's what I was trying to tell the whole story about saying that. And I wanted to get to Hunter. Can you believe this mess? If you're listening, Terry will not let me throw sidearm. He will not argue with me over. He said it has to be overhanded, or he will not allow it.
But I don't care what the job is. I don't care. I don't care what the job is, Hunter. You don't want somebody to cause you additional headaches. I don't care whether you're teaching school, umpiring baseball,
Tom.
working at a radio station, working on computers. I can't
You're
wait.
right.
I can't wait till you get your first job, and there's that one pain in the neck lady who doesn't know how to work her computer, and she calls
You're
you
right.
every single day.
Yes.
And you're like, you're a pain in the butt. And she's gonna tell you, you just want your check, Mr. Yancey. That's all you want.
I'll
We're
admit
going to go
it.
Terry. We're going to Terry for comment here, folks.
And guess what, Tom? I'll admit it.
No.
I do like that money.
It's
but
more than a
Tom,
check.
Tom,
It's more than a
this is coach pitch,
I understand.
and it is
I understand.
and
you
now-
ain't getting rich off umpiring coach
and
pitch, by
and
the way.
ca-
I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you
listen,
that.
listen, Tom. It
I'm
was all a joke.
Did I make a
can
legitimate
poke
case
it.
here?
I'm just saying it is coach pitch.
It
If we
is.
were talking like upper level baseball, where it's the kids should know the game by now and at least know how to hit a baseball, then I would be like, yeah, no. If I
Yeah,
got
I
a
know what
kid
you
out there that's wanting to start throwing underhanded in like a high school tournament, I'm like, "Pfft, get that crap out
I
of
didn't
here.
say
No
it was.
way.
It was him. It's Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s brother. It's Kerry Earnhardt that told me that. I just want to make sure
Told you what?
I'm not putting his name under the bus, even though I already did. But it was supposed to say Kerry Earnhardt there. That said I couldn't do it. That's
Oh.
Kerry Earnhardt right there.
Oh, yeah.
Dale Jr.'s, Dale
sorry.
Jr.'s brother Kerry said that
Yeah,
I couldn't.
no, it wasn't.
Said we
Yeah.
couldn't throw underhand.
Sorry,
So what do
yeah.
you think about that, Hunter?
I think
Now that you know all the
Carrie.
details,
I think Carrie.
I think
Quote Carrie unquote.
you know what I think? I think I think that Kevin has aired out his concerns, and we can now move on to
I think
something else.
the board has heard your concerns, and we will get back to you at a later
But
date.
you know what I told Terry? I will admit this. I did tell Terry this. So y'all are
It's
having this
Carrie.
little- Carrie, y'all having this little feud. I said, Terry, do y'all have a board? Yes. I was like, well, if you got a board, go to the board, vote a rule, and you're done.
right?
That's what I told him. I said,
Give me a piece of paper, and
go
I
to the
will
board.
abide by the
Go-
piece of paper.
exactly. Go to the board. 5 daddies on the board.
But
and,
what
whoever's-
reason?
they're
What
gonna-
reasoning
they'll make a
though
rule.
do you have to say you can't throw underhanded? What
I
reason?
know. I don't.
Because if you what you're saying about the travesty of the game is that's against a different team. Like you're trying
Yeah,
to
I see
show
what
up
you're saying.
them. I'm not trying to show up my kids.
just
All right, and then and Philip actually brought up the Title IX thing, which of course nobody wants to talk about, and I wouldn't do that or push it that far over throwing underhanded at all. I just want to know the reasoning behind it, other than machismo, other than we have to throw overhanded. And the Hunter like Title IX thing is okay. Well, if we can't throw underhanded, which team can my daughter play coach pitch on?
Mhm.
There is no coach pitch here, so she's playing on the boys. So therefore, at least over anything, I should be able to throw to her. If you're going to say that I had, because she's going to play softball, I can at least throw to her. And then after that, we'll have the argument once my foot is in the door about throwing to the rest of them underhanded. But again, Hunter, we're throwing overhanded, striking out 6-year-olds, while the 8-year-olds that we're playing against are hammering the ball to the fence.
I think that's so funny that
12
you
to nothing.
seriously said that Greg Maddox had like 8 Ks and 4 innings, and I'm sitting here and I'm thinking that's somebody's dad that's just striking out kids.
He come over there and he's like, he's like, I'm sorry, guys.
But what it goes back, what's going to happen? Okay,
That's just
what's going to happen is somebody's going to come out there and do it. Then somebody's going to come out there and say he can't do that.
The other coach,
and
right?
somebody's
That's
going to say he
exactly-
can.
That's why I call the
and
umpires.
then it's a
to make
headache,
sure
and
the
then you
rules
got
are
to
okay.
stop the
Listen.
game, and then somebody
You
gets
know,
out the
you know what
game.
would be simple,
That's what's
Tom?
going to happen.
Is I call the umpire and say, hey, we're going to throw underhanded. Tell the other coach for the game this is a real rule and don't be an idiot. How about that?
Yeah, that'll work. Hey,
Step
guy,
one.
don't be an idiot,
Well,
okay?
you know, you can be an easy.
That
Hey
always
guys,
works
hey
when you
guys, I
tell
know
it.
you don't know if you've ever seen it before, but there is no rule of arm angle in pitching.
I understand. I understand the coach's perspective on that.
Can you imagine how that conversation goes? That husband
Even
comes
if you-
home. That
Yeah,
husband
yeah,
comes
yeah.
home
Tom,
with
when I,
that
when I throw
child.
overhanded, is there a rule about how slow I can throw
No,
it?
there's not.
So why, if I'm throwing underhanded, would there be a rule about how slow? I don't even want to throw it slow. I'm actually going to throw it harder than we are overhanded. It's just coming at a straight angle to a 3.5 foot tall person. It's not, you know, the one of our other teams, the coach is like 6'6" and he hums them. I'm like, we would whiff every pitch. Like it's not even close, and he hums them in there. So yeah, I just and again, Hunter, I know it don't matter as far as us being the younger team, but we're just getting hammered, and we're going to argue over arm angle.
Do you imagine going home? It's the dad that had like the 8 strikeouts against his own team with his own son in the vehicle. They're driving home. They get home, and his wife's like, "Hey, honey, how'd you do?" Talking to his son, and he stands up and says, "I had 8 strikeouts today."
You know,
his
did you ever
boy
think?
had two.
I think Terry's the type of guy who might have threw at his own kid in a father-son game.
Probably.
He probably threw at his own kid. I could see that. I stole that from Major League. Remember that? This guy threw at his own
He
kid.
can't
in a
defend
father-son
himself
game.
right now, but anyway,
He can't
Hunter,
defend himself.
that's why I wanted to do as much. I didn't want you to know anything background as much as possible. I wanted you to know the rules, the situation, and whether I should be able to throw underhanded or sidearm.
And then
to my child
tell me who
and
the
coach
one
pitch.
that's telling you you can't.
Yeah,
Carrie Ryan Earnhardt. Sorry, Carrie Earnhardt.
Earnhardt will not let me throw sidearm. I told him if we was in Japan, everybody would be throwing sidearm, like being Young Kim, and you know, just whip that
I
joker
don't
in
even know.
there.
They
All
probably
right,
have coach
JP.
pitch in Japan.
Are you looking up the baseball rules on your phone there?
No, of course not.
No, of course.
Yeah, you love the honesty.
All right, JP, let's take us away to a break. We'll be back in a minute after having a little fun. We'll talk NBA, NFL, and more on KTCBroadcasting.com.
Wouldn't